Hey guys, it's Sarah Schneider with nourishlife.org and the Nourish Mama. If you are new to me, I'm a holistic nutritionist and I help mamas learn how to nourish themselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And today I wanted to talk about self-care and nourishment because self-care is nourishment and nourishment is self-care. They're somewhat synonymous. And if you have been watching any of my things, or if you have been following me for any length of time, you know that I really focus on nourishment and how we can fill ourselves up rather than limiting and depriving and restricting and all of those things that we learned in the diet world. And I just noticed behind me, if you notice, there's a poster. That is my older daughter's student council poster. I obviously work from home and I never know what's going to be behind me when I do a live. So that is what that is. Okay, so one of the things that I was asked this week, and if you are watching the replay, feel free to make comments in the comment section. I just randomly went online. I know that I didn't give anybody any warning. So just go ahead and put your comments in the comment section and I can come back and I can respond accordingly. So let's get started. Spiritual self-care. Somebody asked me this week, they said, okay, so how do you practice spiritual self-care? Like, what does that look like for you? And it was funny because it was somebody who I had never really spoken with before. And I said, well, I actually kind of teach this stuff. And I said, it's something that I actually practice myself. But one of the things that really hit home for me was that connection between self-care, nourishment, and grounding. One of the things that we talk about a lot on here are emotions, and whether they are negative or positive, it doesn't really matter. It's just a messaging system. It's our internal messaging system saying, hey, you need to look at this, right? It's telling you what you need. And so if we can look at what those emotions are telling us, then we can know what we need to do with them. And one of the things that I've noticed over the years of working with a lot of mamas is there is a need to ground ourselves from certain emotions. Let me go ahead and turn this down so you guys don't hear ding, ding, dings from my email. One of the things that I've noticed are these patterns. And it really made me think when this woman asked me this, because a few months ago, I made a really big change in my spiritual self-care practice. I was noticing that in the afternoons that I was feeling that pull, that tug for something caffeinated like coffee or tea or something sugary and sweet, just something to kind of give me that extra bit of energy. Hey, whoever hopped on, to give me that extra bit of energy so that I can push through that afternoon slump, right? And some of it is because physically our bodies are digesting our lunch, and so some of our energy goes to our digestive tract, and that's why we're feeling a little bit of zapped of energy. But some of it is also because we are not feeling grounded. How many times in the afternoon are you feeling worn out, overwhelmed? You're starting to kind of feel anxious because it's the end of the day and you have so many more things to do, and you're kind of right here. So vibrationally, our emotions are energetically charged. That's what I was trying to say. I did not sleep well last night. So emotions are energetically charged. There are some emotions that are very, very high. They vibrate at a very, very high frequency. Like you can actually measure this stuff. It's like sciencey stuff, right? It's not just this granola thing. So you can actually measure it. And there are emotions that are running really high. So like anxiety is a really high and what we typically call a negative emotion. It's a heightened sense of awareness. Then you also have joy, which we always associate with being positive. And how many times when we talk about joy, we're talking about how we're high as a kite, right? Like if you are filled with joy, something amazing happened. Hey, Teresa, if something amazing happened, you're filled with joy, you are flying high, right? And so what happens is when we're having those afternoon experiences, or whenever it is, it doesn't really matter when, but when we're having those experiences of really energetically charged, high vibration emotions, what we tend to do is we need to be grounded. We are way up here, and we need to bring it down, because that's what our minds, that's what our bodies need from us at times. It's good to feel joy. It's good to experience that, but we can't stay up there, because we wouldn't get anything done. If we were celebrating and just full of joy, you wouldn't be able to even like concentrate to make dinner, right? Because you wouldn't be able to like concentrate on all the steps. So while it's amazing to experience some of these really high highs, it's also important to start grounding ourselves. And so that's what I've noticed over the years, and the patterns that I've seen in women is that we as women, we reach for something that is physically going to ground us. And that can be food. So it can be an emotional tie, it could be a habit, it could be an experiential tie. There's all kinds of connections as to why we do it. But one of these, I guess, reasons that we do this subconsciously is to ground ourselves. And it really made me think about it, because this last week I did Mad Lab with my older daughter at her school, and it's a event where parents volunteer and we go to the school and we help them navigate a science experiment. And this science experiment was all about density, which is kind of hard for, you know, fifth graders to wrap their minds around. They understand that if something weighs more, it's going to, you know, be lower on the scale than if something weighs less. They understand that if you have water and you have something really heavy, it's going to drop to the bottom. And if you have something lighter, less dense, it's going to stay up to the top, right? It's going to float. But one of the things that was a little bit hard for them to wrap around was this idea: if it was the same size and shape, but you added a little bit more weight to it, then something that once floated started sinking. And that's when it hit me. This all kind of came together, was that is what we're doing physically to our bodies with food. We are using food to physically ground us, because we're the same size and shape, relatively, right? Even if you have a big old burrito, you're the same physical size and shape, but you're changing the weight of it. And it literally pushes us down. It weights us down. And that is what is giving us that grounding effect. That is what is giving us that calming effect. We're coming up from this high and we're finally sinking down into something that feels more comfortable, right? And so that's why we're using, that's one of the reasons, not only the reason, but that's one of the reasons why we subconsciously use food to ground us. So one of the things that, like, I'll go back to the afternoon thing. One of the things that I know that I've been doing differently was when I started feeling that afternoon pull, what was working wasn't working for me anymore. And you'll understand, like, as you move along in your journey, you evolve, and what you need at any given time, you know, evolves. And that's why it's so important to understand discernment, being able to discern what it is that I need, and then being able to actually do that thing, because that's another big piece of it. There's a lot of times, hey Stacy, there's a lot of times we know what is good for us, but it's hard for us to actually do the things that make us feel better. And the reason that is because there's some sort of disconnect. There's some sort of you know, healing that needs to go on with self, so that we can bridge that gap between knowing and then being able to do that. But one of the things that I started doing in the afternoons was I really needed to start connecting spiritually more. It was something that nothing else was fulfilling it, right? Nothing else was grounding me. And so if the physical, the mental, and emotional grounding exercises weren't working, then clearly this was a spiritual thing. And so now I know that in the afternoons when I'm hitting that slump, instead of grabbing for something a little sweet, instead of grabbing for an extra cup of coffee, which is like my go-to thing, I am an iced coffee afternoon person. I love pouring coffee over ice and sipping that in the afternoon for a little bit of boost. But instead of doing that, I combined a few of my practices, and now I lay on the floor, which grounds my physical body, and then I do meditative prayer. So everybody knows that I have a deep, you know, Christian faith. It doesn't matter if you have, oh Lord have mercy, Stacy and Joni are on together. You guys are so funny together. Hopefully, not like just knowing that you're on here together and like feeling this energy is gonna like throw me. Just watch. And I was doing so good. Um, so one of the things that, let me go back now, I'm like all discombobulated. You girls are like, even in different continents, you guys have like fire energy. Okay. No, I'm not. So one of the things that I noticed that I really needed for myself was to be able to lay on the floor and really connect with the divine, really allowing myself to connect with my spiritual self, and allowing myself to just listen. Not necessarily talk, but just ask, okay, so what is it that I need today? What is it that I need to be doing? General questions, and lying there and just taking in whatever answer that may be. Sometimes you get an answer in meditation, in meditative prayer, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't get any type of sign, you don't get any type of answer until 2 days later, and then it was like, oh, that's it. That's what I've been waiting for. That was the thing that I was supposed to be doing. So if it's not happening in that moment, it's okay. But either way, it was my way to really ground myself. So today I wanted to give you guys distraction time. I know, Stacey, you're terrible. In a really good way, you're terrible. So I wanted to give you guys some grounding practices. I'm going to drop those because there's like a list, right? And I want you guys to really experiment this week on how you can better ground yourself. So when you notice that your emotions are rising and they are giving you that message that you need to take it back down, so that your body feels balanced and that you're not in that crazy headspace, that's when you know you need to start experimenting with grounding experiments. And like I said, for me, spiritual self-care is more about really just connecting with my soul self, allowing the divine to kind of work through me, and being really quiet and present and listening. And that is the hardest part, because listening is one of those skill sets that I know I need to be working on. And I think a lot of people are so used to talking that we don't stop to listen and wait for the answer. So we're talking, and when we're supposed to be getting the answer and we can't hear it. So that's one of the things that I notice when I have that 20 minutes. And granted, okay, this is another thing. Some of this is a mindset. So in the afternoons, instead of reaching for cookies and cakes and chips and coffee and whatever it is that gets us through the afternoon, instead of reaching for that, it's really about stepping back and taking a really big step back. Hey, taking a really big step back and being able to, hold on, I just like lost my train of thought. Hey, Limu. But taking a really big step back and knowing that it is better for you to take 10 minutes of yourself, like 10 minutes of time for yourself, to be able to do some of these practices, instead of, like, what do? We grab something sweet, we grab a cup of coffee, we scan Facebook, we go on Instagram, we waste time. We're trying to decompress. We're trying to relax. We're trying to step away from whatever it is that is charging us emotionally. But instead, we're not having that restoration that we want for ourselves. We're not having that redemptive kind of experience. We're not being nourished. We're not being charged in a way that really fulfills us. Instead, we're having like that pseudo type of restoration. We're taking a break, but we're not really feeling fulfilled. We're not really feeling nourished. We're not being filled up by that experience. So some of it is really about getting into that mindset of being able to separate ourselves. And what that means is saying, you know what, even though this is really hard for me to like go in the other room and not do a thing, because you are doing a thing, but it feels like you're not doing anything. It feels like you're kind of being lazy. You're taking time out for yourself. You're not getting anything off your to-do list. You're not, you know, vegging out. You're taking just time just to be, and that feels really awkward and feels really hard. So if that's something that comes up with you, let me know. Most people listen to reply, some listen to understand. Listening spiritually is another thing. Listening spiritually is a hard thing to do because the spiritual, the divine world, they don't use the English language. They don't use earthly language. And so a lot of it is really just listening and learning how to discern the messages in a way that you're hearing. Does that make sense? It's kind of elusive. It's kind of hard to kind of wrap your head around. But anyways, okay. So I am going to drop a big, a post with all of the different nourishing, grounding practices that you can do physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Check out, ladies. Check out. I give you permission. Write yourself a permission slip. I don't have any on my desk. Oh yeah, I do. Write yourself a permission slip and check out. Check out for 15 minutes. There's nothing that you could be doing that is going to fall apart in 15 minutes. Allow yourself to really fill up, restore yourself, and do all the things that you need to do so that you can feel better and that you can make it through your day. Because one of the things that I've really noticed that when I do take time to meditate, when I do take time to myself, even if it's just for 10 minutes, I feel a sustainable energy that gets me through the afternoon. It's not that like coffee energy, you know what I mean? It's not that sugary energy that you know that you're like super high and you're gonna crash. It's that nice sustainable energy that you know that you can go through the rest of your day. So grounding practices, I will put them in the Nourish Mama. What else was I gonna do? Oh, give yourself permission, take time out for yourself, and really allow yourself to restore and reground yourself so that you can make it through the day. Do you guys have any questions? I will stay on for questions and then I will hop off. So your meditation, breathe, go for a walk. Yes, yes. And if you are, so there are different energy types. I believe in this. There are different energy types. I'm a quieter person. I am kind of intense. Like I'm not like, that sounds mean. That sounds weird. But I have a very kind of like intense, quiet type of energy. So going to run a 5K is not for me, right? But going on a nice leisurely walk is something that really feels good to me. But if you are a high pace, like, you know, kind of like that pushing force type of energy, I call it a type 3. If you are a pushing force type of energy, you have to go, go, go. You love to-do lists. You love knocking things off that list. Then, you know, maybe running, you know, 3 miles in the morning is that thing for you, right? Because it's busy, it's active. If you are the type of energy, I call it type 1, where you, everything needs to be fun. Everything needs to be something that you really enjoy. It needs to be light. It needs to be airy. That may be something like reading something funny, right? Reading can be really restorative. Not on the Facebook, but it may be reading something really fun and interesting. So yeah, it depends on the type of energy that you are, which ground. Okay, sorry, I got like frozen there. Yes, when I practice, I've come across old and dead languages, but mostly images, symbols, and feelings. It's more intuitive. Yes, that's exactly it, Stacy. There are no words. And the thing about it is sometimes when the reason it feels so elusive and the reason that people have such a tough time wrapping their heads around it is because it is elusive. It's not something that's easily described. It's not something that you can put into words because there is no word for it in the human language, regardless of language. I think you might need to go after dealing with the distraction duo. Yes, you and Joni. Depends on the day for me. Joni, it depends on what do you mean it depends on the day for you? Today I'm giving myself permission to stay in bed, recover fully. Oh my gosh, Neela, yes, I agree. So I woke up at 2 a.m. and then I couldn't fall back asleep. I don't know what happened. This doesn't usually happen to me. But I gave myself permission at, I guess it was around 9 o'clock to take a nap. Because I was working from 2 a.m. all the way until I got my girls off to school and I got home and I picked up the kitchen and everything, and then I was like, oh my God, I cannot move. Like, I need nourishment. I need, restorative sleep. And then I took a bath, Nilu, so maybe a bath would help too. That helped me today. Lifting weights works for me. Bit hard to focus on anything when you've got 25 kgs above your head. Yes, Stacy. So you and I are similar in that, like, lifting weights is your thing. I go to bar class. It's a little bit more active, but not much. It's kind of like a little bit of an active yoga. It's all really small, isometric type of movements. And yeah, that may work best for you. It's my off day, or if I'm working from 6 a.m. If it's my day off, or if I'm working from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So what does that mean, Joni? Joni is one of my dear clients, my forever clients. I have forever clients. They will always and forever be in my heart. And she lost an amazing, like, 85 pounds. She did a really good job of reducing inflammation, and her asthma improved, and her arthritis, and she's too young for all that anyways. And she just did a really, she's one of those people that I'm like, man, you're amazing. Body Boss workout this week. Ooh, how fun is that? Yes, I do nutrition. I do holistic nourishment. I do not do workouts. I work out, but I am not your personal trainer. So you knock yourself out on that, Body Boss. Depends on how much energy I'm going to have to use. Yeah, so whenever you start something new, take it easy. I know we all have that mentality of all or nothing. I'm 100% in. But sometimes a soft start, and if you've ever been one of my clients, you will have heard this from me, soft starts really help to get us mentally and emotionally aligned to make big, massive change in our lives. And so, Joni, you may need a soft start for Body Boss. You may need to ease yourself into it and give yourself a lot of grace, and especially after that first day, since you're getting back into it. I know you've had a lot of health stuff going on. So anyways, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'm going to create a post that has all the different grounding exercises. Experiment. My big thing with any of my programs, whether they're paid or free courses, is I want you to experiment. I want you to find what works best for you, not Sally down the street, not what happened, helped your personal trainer, but really what helps you feel better. And like I said, it's going to evolve over time as you evolve over time, and what you need today may be different than what you need 6 months from now, and then that might change to go back to what you were doing 6 months previously, So really, it's all about being able to discern what you need in that moment and then how to meet those needs. Oh, and if you want to sign up for Break into Nourishment, it is a free intuitive eating course. It's going to be on Zoom. It's going to be a real course, guys. Like, it's not like a freebie. It's a real course that I'm just giving for free. So if that's something that you want to do, sign up. The link is in the Nourish Mama. All you have to do is drop in your email, and then I'll send you all the information. It's super easy. It starts next week on Monday, and it's going to be 5 days. We're going to get together on Zoom. It's going to be like the Brady Bunch, all of us on there. And I'm going to do coaching. Like, I'm going to teach, but then I'm going to coach. So every single day you're going to get me. Yep, week 3 is always the second week when the body changing starts. Yes, I know. Yes, Stacy, I saw you signed up. So listen, also, the spots are limited. I only have a certain amount of spots that I can do on a Zoom call. And so if you want in, you have to sign up. And even if you're like, I want to be there, I don't know if I'm going to be there at that time, go ahead and sign up, because then I will know that you're in the course and I will send you the replay so you don't miss out. I know that some of the times are kind of squirrely, especially if you're on Pacific time. So if that's the case, go ahead, sign up anyways, and I will shoot out emails. But you won't get the emails unless you're signed up, and I want you to be able to have that information. And you know me, I'll give homework and stuff. So it's really it's a robust course. Highly, 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 highly recommend it. Oh, and Nourishment Blueprint. If you have been looking at some of the courses the last few months and you really want to go big and do a deep dive and really understand the core root cause as to why you are overeating or what's going on with your relationship to food or really needing to heal relationship to self, whatever it is, Nourishment Blueprint starts in October. So if you want, we can do a breakthrough call. It's not a sales call. We don't even talk about the program, but I want to see if there's something that I can help you with. And then if I can, I will let you know. And if you wanted to know more about the program, then you can ask, but I don't present it ahead of time. So just letting you know, there's like no gimmicks. There's no bait and switch. It's not creepy and weird. Hey, Alexis, I woke up. I woke up. Hey, Debbie, thank you for your sweet, kind words. Debbie was a client of mine too, a forever client. And she told me to rest, and I was like, yes, I did that. I feel so much better now. Thank you. That was really sweet of you. So if you are just hopping on, I just finished, but a lot of great things are going on, the Nourish Mama. If you haven't noticed, there's a ton of different posts. There's a ton of different information. There's a ton of events going on. Go through the feed a little bit, and yeah, start signing up for all the different fun things. Breaking and Nourishment starts next week. It's a free course. It's on Zoom. It's an actual course. I'm just offering it for free. And then Nourishment Blueprint, that's my 3-month deep dive coaching program. If that's something that you really want to do, if that's like been on your heart, you've been really wanting to get to that place again, message me and we'll have a breakthrough call. They're not bait and switch. They're not gimmicky. They're not spammy. I'm not going to sell you anything. I just want to see if there's something that I can help you with. And then if I can, I'll let you know. And I'll even give you, whatever it is that I think you could do right now today to make yourself feel better, just to get you back on track, because I want you feeling really good. And then if you want to know more about the program, you can ask. But I'm not gonna, bring that up unless that's something that you really want to do. So I hope you guys still 10K down from last year from doing the free courses. Look at that. See, a lot of people, and I think some coaches and nutritionists, they give freebies, but they're not real, not to be mean, but they're not as effective, right? They're like little tiny nuggets of information. But Stacy has lost 10 kgs. I don't know what that translates to pounds. Is that 20? I don't know. How many pounds is that? 22? This is really bad. I'm tired. Let me just say that that's my excuse. But she's down 10 kgs simply from doing my free courses. So that just goes to show you that there's a ton of really great information in there. And yeah, I would love to have you. I'd love to see you. And remember, the spots are limited because my Zoom limits me. So you have to sign up today if that's what you want to do. Or tomorrow. But like yesterday. No, just kidding. All right. So I will let you guys go. I love you all dearly, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.